Howdy peeps, and welcome to or welcome back to the channel. Good to see you. Yes, my first paint by numbers. Not the first one I bought, but the first one I decided to do. Kind of a bad idea. I should have started with the smaller one that was a lot darker first, but there we go. Lessons learned. Yes. Asian lady with tattoos holding a katana. With a somewhat strangely shaped stomach and rib cage, but there we go. Did I enjoy it is the first question. Yes, sort of. Now I'm going to have to clarify that. As a model, figure, miniature painter, builder, molester, some would say, I'm used to a completely different kind of painting. I'm used to much finer detail, much finer brushes, and much thinner paint that actually covers. Now, yeah, the paints that came with it are perfectly adequate for doing this kind of thing. Yeah, definitely start with the darker colours first and go slightly over the lines, because the lighter colours won't cover the lines up unless you want to do 2, 3, 4 coats of paint. And that's another thing I discovered. You don't have to put the paint on as thin as I would normally. I'm not saying you can dollop it on. You do have to spread it about, but it doesn't need to be the kind of a thickness of layer that we would use in scale modelling, for example, where you're talking microns, where you're preserving microscopic detail with several layers of paint over it. Yeah, the rivets on an aircraft, for example, an aircraft model, or the panel lines. So yeah, started out and I absolutely hated it. Then I did a couple of things, purchased a couple of things, well, purchased a thing. I'm just looking around to see where the heck I've put it. Ah, there it is. Oop. Some clear gesso. Yes, it's pronounced J, but it's spelt G. I know that looks white, it dries clear. It's kind of a primer of sorts, gives the paint a tooth, something to grip onto when you put it on the canvas. So the idea is you put a layer of gesso on first, let that dry completely, overnight kind of thing, and then paint on top of that, and that does make the painting much easier, much better. And then Flow Improver, as I said in the video that I did for my first one. Yes, Flow Improver is required. Retarder is not, it dries plenty quick enough. And with a few little experimentes after I was finished, because obviously I didn't want to risk destroying the paints before I'd finished. It will thin with IPA, or the paints that came with mine did anyway, and they didn't react to lacquer thinner badly. Well, they didn't like it too much, and I'm not sure whether the canvas would, because the canvas has got a coating on it of some sort anyway, so probably best to steer away from the Unicorn Tears, MLT, Mr. Leveling Thinner. But yeah, it works absolutely fine, thins fine with isopropyl alcohol, or I'd guess pretty much any of the alcohol based thinners. The worry that, oh no, I might run out of paint. Well, all those pots are at least half full. So not too worried about running out of paint, and I'm not worried about saving them either, because I've got many paints. So yes, gesso, clear gesso to prime the canvas makes the painting a lot easier. Dark colours first, paint slightly over the lines, leaving the lighter colours till last, which goes against every grain of my being, because everything screams at me to start in one place and gradually work out from there. So for example, I started in that corner, and the plan was to work out, get to like there, then start in this corner, and that corner, and that corner, gradually work into the middle. Yeah, don't try that, it doesn't work. I know this is far from the best paint by numbers you'll ever see. Yeah, I wanted to get it done. It was on the bench for a week while I was off work on holiday, so I had lots of time to do it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll do another one. I think I've actually got another one on order. Can't remember what it is. It might be a custom one. Yeah, I like my customs. But yeah, so gesso, flow improver. I actually used a glaze medium rather than a flow improver, because it thins the paint but doesn't reduce the opacity. Again, just 5 drops in each pot. You could easily thin it a lot more, but then you're just going to need more and more coats, and if you've got to do 2 coats of every colour, that means you're painting the whole thing twice. And that does not sound like fun to me. But there we go. Anything else I've learned, figured it out? Yeah, the fact that you can get away with laying the paint on a fair bit thicker than I normally would for painting a figure or a model. When I say painting a figure or a model, here's one that I just started. Ooh, I can't actually see the camera screen to know where I am. There we go. It's a model of Athena. Still needs another couple of coats of flesh colour, but then we'll start with the painting the dress and the hair, and then the shading and the highlighting and the blending, and you know how it goes. Yeah, if I wanted to blend the paint so you don't get the distinct lines, I would probably do a version of what modelers and figure painters would call dry brushing. So you take a brush that's virtually got no paint on it, and you use it to pick out, rub it across the very edge of the raised detail, and it picks up the raised details. Well, because the canvas is textured, it'll do that on the canvas. You can do one colour one way and then the other colour the other way. It should blend them together that way. But anyway, just a theory. How long have I been waffling for? Oh, 9 minutes. Yeah, so there will be another one to come. If you enjoy the crafty, painty, diamond painty, if you enjoy the cavey type stuff, up here in the man cave, the hobby room, whatever we're going to call it, I do a live stream on a Sunday. Not necessarily every week will be from up here. Some weeks will be in the usual place down in front of the fish tanks. But yeah, that's every Sunday 6 to 8 GMT. We just have a bit of banter and a chat and a natter and talk about all sorts and just see how we go. It's not planned. Today we are going to talk about, and like my videos, completely unscripted as well. I might have a few ideas of things I want to talk about, but they usually get out of the way within the first 10 minutes and then it's freestyle from there. Which is why doing something at the same time works for me, because it means I haven't got to figure out what to say for 2 hours if it's quiet in the chat. But yes, there we go. If you're still here, why? Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, stick them down there somewhere. Just check up, just checking in the camera I'm not tickling or anywhere I shouldn't be. Yeah, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Memberships are open, super thanks are open, blah 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 blah. Somewhere around there. Have fun, stay safe, peace out, rock on, bye bye.